Many a time a person asks that how can I increase my quality of worship? How can I increase my quality of worship? And I've thought about this long and hard. And the answer that I have is that we increase our quality of worship by increasing our knowledge of the one who we are worshipping. If we grow our knowledge about the one who's being worshipped, then by default our worship increases as well. Or the quality of worship increases. Because the love for Allah increases. The more we learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more we love Him. And the more we love Him, the more we love to do what Allah loves. Right? Like a person who has a spouse. The more they learn about that spouse, the more they love that spouse. Or should love that spouse. It should be, inshallah, they learn good things about them. Right? So for example, she wakes up for tahajjud. Subhanallah. That's amazing. What happens to you? By default, you begin loving her more. Or he fasts Mondays and Thursdays. Something extra. Subhanallah. Right? So you learn this about him. What happened? What happened? You started loving him more. Right? And when you love a person more, you want to do that which makes them happy. By default. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more we learn about Him, the more we begin loving Allah. It increases. And the more we love Allah, the more we love to worship Allah. And the quality of our worship increases as well. So I want you to cite this as an objective from this course, that to improve our quality of worship. To improve our quality of worship. In that, we want to learn about Allah more, so that we love Allah more. And we want to love Allah more, so that we worship Allah more in both quantity and quality. You don't have a pen, brother? Subhanallah. Any pens on distribution? They are? They will be, khair. Let's distribute some pens. So this is one of the things. The other things, brothers and sisters, that I want us to do over the course of today and tomorrow, and I want you to write this down, is to develop our spirituality. Write that down. Develop our spirituality. Anywhere you want to write it. What page are we on? Page 6. Write it on page 6. Right? We want to develop our spirituality. What else do we want to do? We want to develop our character. I want you to pay attention to all these entities of your life, brothers and sisters, okay? I'm not going to teach you this course in the technical manner and how to refute people who have misguided views. I want us to sit together and become better people with the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the end of tomorrow, inshallah. That's the challenge that I set for you all, right? So we want to develop our worship of Allah, we want to develop our spirituality, and we want to develop our character, right? Every name that we go through, I want you to ask yourself this poignant question. How do I become a better person in terms of my relationship with Allah, in terms of my spirituality, and in terms of my character after learning this name? This is your job. This is not something I can teach you. Each and every one of us is on a journey with the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And each and every one of us will ask ourselves questions that relate to circumstances in our lives. And our circumstances are unique to ourselves. So each and every one of us must ask. Ask yourself after we take every name. Remember I said we're learning to teach it to others, but in the same instance we want to learn to develop ourselves. So ask yourself, how does this name of Allah, when I've understood its implication, how does it affect my spirituality? How does it make me a better person? How does it improve my character? Allah has beautiful names. So invoke Allah using His names and worship Him using His names. And if you ask, how can I invoke Allah using His names when I don't know His names? We say, well, that's what we want to do over the course of today and tomorrow. We want to develop a more intimate understanding of the name of Allah so that it affects us in what we do, and we have knowledge of when to use this name, in which part of our dua, and also which names to think about in the different types of worship that we observe to make our worship and dua even more flamboyant. Make it even more special. Increase the quality of the worship that we engage in, right? So there's a specific objective behind me highlighting this point, because I have an objective behind being with you all over the case of today and tomorrow. My objective is, insha'Allah, to leave you all with those tools that will bring us together in Jannah tomorrow, insha'Allah.